How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffled Rowlets, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. It is really warm right now. It's like 38, 39 degrees inside. I am melting. Okay, I am melting. But either way, we got some Pokemon stuff to talk about. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a beverage, and let's get started. First things first, going to be this post from Central Leaks, of course. Keep in mind, Central Leaks is not an actual leaks account. It is just a account that aggregates information or leaks. That's all they do. They just aggregate information, then they share whatever information they find. So just do keep that in mind, though, as it doesn't necessarily confirm anything. So just keep that in mind. But we do have a few things to talk about. So first thing's going to be this. He said, an August without a Pokemon Presents, but with a Nintendo Direct instead would be quite the shakeup, huh? And now, this is a bit confusing, because I read this, I'm like, how do you know there's not going to be a Pokemon Presents this month, right? Like, there's still nothing that guarantees that we're not going to get a Pokemon Presents. There's still a chance we'll get one, because keep in mind, guys, we're only like halfway through this month, right? Like barely halfway. We're about to be the halfway mark by Thursday of this month. So, and that's also, by the way, when the Pokemon World Championship starts. And the Pokemon Presents can still happen during the championship or even after the championship. Like, it can still happen sometime soon. So, again, anything's possible. But he links over to this right here, the kind of shakeup Nintendo likes to do time to time. Well, what is he referring to? Well, this was posted on r/gaming leaks and rumors about 3 days ago from PH Brazil, apparently claiming that an indie world is happening in September, while hinting a Nintendo Direct will be held soon. So, what is he talking about? Well, here is an image from, let's go to the actual post here, Family Boards. You guys can see there's a bunch of conversations going on right here. An August Direct will be interesting. An August Indie Showcase would actually be within pattern, given it will be close to Gamescom. If we go up here, like, I think... let's see, if we look at this image, I'm glad, so here it is, Brazil. So this is a person who has been correct in the past, but also, I'm gonna be honest with you, this guy has been wrong about stuff too, so I wouldn't take it as 100% proof. But he says, I'm glad you guys have already thread up for this. You might need it sooner rather than later. Then he says, you mentioned there's to be an indie world in August. That happening, Brazil? Not in August, September. And before anyone claims I'm saying the date changed, I'm not. As always, information gets clearer as we edge closer to things. So that's what he said. Again, I don't know if I would trust this. Keep in mind, if we actually look up, like, let's actually do a little bit of research on this. If we look up Pokemon Presents, right, where all the Pokemon Presents have happened in the past. So this is specifically for Pokemon presentations, nothing Nintendo related, just Pokemon presentations, right? As you guys may know, and I've mentioned this in several videos, Pokemon Presents usually happen like this. There's always one in February, right? It's always one Pokemon Present in February, and then there's always one present in Pokemon Present in August. So February, August in 2021, February, August in 2022, February, August in 2023, and guess what? So far in 2024, we had the February Presents, and logically there should be one in August. Now the question becomes, okay, but how does that match up with the Pokemon World Championship, which usually happens in August? Well, let's look at it. So, the Pokemon Present that happened in 2021 was on August 18th. Now, if we look up Pokemon World Championship, right, in 2021. So, if we look at the 2021 World Championship in Pokemon, when it took place, right? So here it is. So World Championships in Pokemon that took place. Let's see if we can find the exact dates. Let's see, dates. Here we go. So if we check at when the usual World Championships take place, if we just look at the list, usually, and again, this is very much all over the place when it comes to this stuff, but we look at 2021 in particular, which was the year that I think they skipped it, so there was no championship during that year. However, the next one is in 2022, right? That was on August 3rd. That's when that was the Presents, right? The Pokemon Presents came out then, but when was the actual championship in 2022? Well, it was between August 18th and 21st. So here it happened before the actual World Championship. However, in 2023, the actual championship happened in August 11th till 13th. And when do we get the actual Presents? Well, we got it on the 8th. So it's like slightly before that, like literally like a few days before that. 2024, the actual, like, championship is happening between the 16th and the 18th. So, there is always a chance, keep in mind, there's always a chance that anywhere between now, starting from today until the 15th, that this could still happen, or they could do it after. Just keep that in mind, there's always a chance. Like, I'm trying to hold out hope, I'm trying to cope, I'm trying to have the copium that this will actually happen. Again, there's no guarantees. We are all up in the air for this kind of shit. You guys know how this works. Pokemon news are inconsistent in the last few years, but especially now because Legends ZA is not guaranteed if it's coming out, you know, early in 2025, late 2025. We have no freaking clue. So I'm going to put it like this. There's still a possibility this week, hold out hope. I'm just going to be waiting and hoping that something does happen. Maybe we get it because we really need some Legends ZA news. There's been no info on that game since the reveal. Like, we know nothing. So it's about time because we know it's still coming out next year, but we still know zero information about it. There's no pre-orders for it yet, which is weird because you'd expect them from a, well, I guess, money-making point of view, from a business point of view, that they would want to make sure they've got a lot of moolah, dollar bills coming in. And that would only happen if they got those pre-orders up, which they don't yet. But on the same time, they do also have the Pokemon centers in Japan already stocked out with Kalos merch and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of weird because why are you putting out merch for Kalos if you don't already have the games out? It's just counterproductive. But point is, we still have a chance this week that we might get some information. It's just not guaranteed. Please keep that in mind. And don't lose your shit if we don't get one, because there's always a chance we don't. And if that happens, we're probably not going to see any Pokemon news until next year in February for Pokemon Day. Just an FYI, guys. Just keep that in mind. It is a possibility. However, moving on to the next thing, though, we do have a little bit of a different information to talk about, which is coming to us also from Centro in this case, or I guess kind of Centro, but not really Centro. Point is, it comes from Ami at Japan. Ami in Japan, that if you guys do not know, is not really the most consistent person to trust when it comes to information, but they do share some interesting information. So I'm not going to be totally against what they have to say. Ami in Japan is a cool person. So what are they talking about? Well, basically they said that lol, the Pokemon, the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet playlist on YouTube was updated. So there are apparently 5 hidden videos in the Scarlet and Violet playlist, but 3 hidden videos originally were in the playlist to begin with. So they added 2 new videos onto that playlist, which usually sometimes implies that something new is coming or something big is going to happen, a trailer, a reveal, etc. That has happened in the past. You guys can see down here, they also said that like the same thing happened a while back in July. So point is, it is still possible. It has happened in the past, and that's the only thing that indicates that this could be real. However, Centro, on the other hand, says that some people are like, I guess this is misleading in some way, claiming that the playlist for Scarlet and Violet on YouTube have new hidden videos. This is not true. We checked all the playlists, and the ones that have hidden videos are just old videos that have been privated, no new hidden videos. So take it as you will. I don't know if there are old ones or if they're new ones. But again, in the past, there has been videos added in private without us noticing it that actually ended up being genuine trailers down the line. So just keep it in mind. Just want to mention it because, well, a lot of people do mention it. Also, Dynamax is coming to Pokemon Go. Apparently, it's getting closer and closer because they're testing it already. Like, there are data mines that have figured out that it is happening. So, again, more confirmation on that, which moves us on to the next thing. And this is a big one. So, Pokemon Sleep, the most dogshit Pokemon game in existence. No offense, if you guys play Pokemon Sleep, good for you. But, sorry, it is one of the dumbest Pokemon games we've ever gotten. Well, guess what? They did a special trailer back in February. That trailer was revealing Suicune. Suicune was going to be coming out in Pokemon Sleep. During the presents, they announced it. It was a big deal for Pokemon Sleep players, which I don't know how many there are of you guys, like 10. Point is, they announced Suicune, which is one of the legendary beasts, dogs, whatever you want to call them. Here's the thing, though. Here's the issue. They just announced Suicune for the game, but not during a presents, not during a direct, not during a big announcement, just randomly tweeted it out. And that's a little bit worrisome because like Centro says here, well, the Pokemon Presents this month, Dream is now pretty much officially dead. This was a Presents announcement last time. Okay, do you guys understand what I'm saying? If he's right here, if he's correct that, yeah, last time Suicune got a massive announcement during a Presents, Raikou, and now Suicune only gets a tweet, that would imply that we're not getting shit this month, which would be really bad. But again, there's a lot of stuff going against the presents, but there's also history. But again, keep in mind, Pokemon history, when it comes to like them doing announcements and stuff, they break their patterns. So there's no guarantees there. Moving on, though, to the next thing, which you've already spoken about, that is that there is a confirmation, by the way. So new information and a live demo for Pokemon TCG Pocket will be revealed during the next week's Pokemon World Championship 2024. So yes, it is confirmed that this is happening. Like, there's no question, there's no doubt, there's no discussion if this is happening. It is real, okay? We're 100% getting this. It is not a question about if it's going to be real or not. We know for a fact that we're getting TCG Pocket news, which, I'm going to be real, it's kind of lame that this is the only thing we're going to get. Like, I don't know about you guys, but TCG Pocket is not the most exciting thing. I mean, maybe it's going to be hype. Maybe I'll love this game and I'll be covering it for the next year until we get the next Pokemon game. I don't know. Point is, this is like at least one tiny thing we can expect, I guess, to see. I don't know where he got this information from, but I'm going to trust Central Pokemon on this just because they have been correct about this kind of stuff. And I don't think they tweet on their main account ever unless they concretely know this kind of stuff. So the mere fact that we're going to at least get that piece of information is a little bit stressful because it means that it's not going to be during a presents. Like if they're going to be having a demo for it and like actual information about it during the championship, that means that there's not going to be a Pokemon presents during the championship, which is a little effy, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Moving on, though, we have the last thing for today, guys, which is, of course, going to be your daily 4chan rumor. You guys know how this shit works. You guys know how this goes. So let's just get right into it, okay? Let's just get right into it. Let's read the rumor, see what it has to say. So, he says, League of Legends. Wow, great. Love the name. He goes on and says, modern day sequel to X and Y. Well, we already know that it's based on X and Y, nothing new there. Modern day, though, I really wonder, does everybody assume the game's going to be set in the future just because of the fact that we saw, like, the whole techno shit in the, like, reveal trailer? Because I still think the game's going to be set in the past, or at least, like, a mixture of the two. And I know that sounds dumb, but keep in mind, the whole, like, premise of Scarlet and Violet, the previous games, and usually they all lead into each other. The whole premise of Scarlet and Violet was past and future meeting in one place, right? Like, you know, Sada and Futuro, you know, Turo, both having, like, Sada and Futuro. Like, that literally is, you know, past and future in Spanish. Like, the whole point of that game was to show you past version of Pokemon and futuristic version of Pokemon. So this game, being the second Legends game, could be set in the future. So I'm not totally against it. And then he says Quasar Co., which is headed by a board that feels like the Kalos rampant urbanization is an issue. Man, I love these videos. So apparently Kalos is going through a rampant urbanization, and that's an issue. And they want to transform Kalos into a world like example eco-city, which I don't know if that makes sense, but it does go in line with what they've done in X and Y. Like, just the way that everybody acts in X and Y, like the villains and everything, I can see this making sense. Now they say also that Pokedex is roughly equal to Kalos in size. Well, Kalos' Pokedex was relatively small, if I don't remember, like if I'm not misremembering, I think it was relatively small. But with a lot of Pokemon swapped out, all Pokemon with Megas are in, with the Hoenn Legends making up the post-game. That would also make sense. I do wonder if the Hoenn Legends will actually show up, though. Like, I don't know about that, but fair enough. Either way, Mega Stones unlock throughout defeating Radiant Pokemon, this game's version of Alphas. Now, non-Mega Radiants have Rainbow Auras and reward other items. But there are a set of Mega Radiants that receive help from an ally. But then you're mixing two features into one, like ally Pokemon, but also Megas, which I guess they did kind of do in Sun and Moon, so fair enough. They also say that apparently there's going to be new Megas and Pokemon and forms explained as consequences of the second firing of the Ultimate Weapon. How many times was the Ultimate Weapon, shot? I don't know, but apparently there was a second one. And then he says the weapons tied back to the Terrapagos imply that the Mega Evolution was created by a desperate wish to become stronger and is a construct of resonance, with the crystals used to build the weapon. Again, not sure what that's supposed to mean, but okay. Ultimate Weapon was initially fired at Paldea to remove them from aiding Galar in an ancient war. This is too, like, let's just remember something. This is still Pokemon. This is too deep for Pokemon for them to, like, write this kind of lore. It's just too deep. I mean, they did do some of this kind of stuff in the past. Like, that's why we even have the Ultimate Weapon as a premise in Pokemon to begin with. But I just think, like, they wouldn't want to include this in the games nowadays. Like, I don't think this is something they want to include, especially anything war-related. It's a bit iffy. They do say, though, two new legendaries are going to be Gleaming Arc and Iron Saber. So I'm guessing their names are similar to Paradox Pokemon, but are they still paradoxes? I do wonder, because he says no other paradoxes. So I guess he's implying that they are paradoxes. Okay, cool. But he hinted that the appearance of the Pokemon Megas were influenced by the tales of paradox Pokemon. Okay, and then the starters are the choice of Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie, Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle. So all six or one of the two sets. Because if it's like the Gen 6 starters separately, and then the Gen 7 starters separately, or sorry, Gen 6 and then Gen 1 starters, that would make sense because that's what you also got in X and Y. But does he mean that out of all of these six, you only get to choose one? Because that would be weird. Then he continues on and finishes it off with the following, saying Venusaur X, Blastoise X, along with Mega Chestnut, Delphox, and Greninja. Lots of double battles, while double battles are also possible. Cool. I hate double battles, but fair enough. Abilities are in and held items are not. That also would make sense because, man, I don't know. Held items are a weird one, but I would see them not including it. Then saying Zygarde gets no new forms beyond usable core, okay, but perma complete with a new ability if mega'd. Okay, I don't even know what he's trying to say here. I guess a complete version of it would happen, but it's only if it's Mega Evolved, which is weird. Is there a Mega form then? Like, is that what you're implying? Then he says Mega Xerneas and Yveltal. I really doubt we're going to get Mega Xerneas and Yveltal. I think we're just going to get, like, origin forms of them instead. That would just make more sense. Then he continues on and finishes off with the following. 5 regional form lines, 1 lookalike line. And when he says lookalike, I'm assuming he's implying or talking about, what are they called again? I literally forget their names. It's like the like the special form of Pokemon that we had, like Wiglet, for example, which I literally forget what they were called because it was a whole like fan-made term for them, but I don't really know what they remember. I cannot remember what they're called, to be honest with you guys. But you guys know what we're talking about. Wiglet. Just think of Wiglet and you know what I'm referring to. Either way, 7 cross-generational evolutions, 30 new Mega Evolutions stockpiled from scrapped IDs. That's too many. Right there is when you lose me on this. There is no way in hell we're getting 30 new Mega Evolutions. That's just not happening. It's not realistic. It's not real. It's not going to happen. Okay? There's no way in hell that's going to be real. But I digress. Either way, the last 2 points. The opposite to Zygarde, so I guess the counterpart to Zygarde, is a new rodent-like mythical. I'm guessing he's referring to like the whole theory of it being based on Ratatoskr, which if you guys do not know is like the little like god in Norse mythology that goes up and down like Yggdrasil, the world tree or whatever. I guess that's what he's referring to. And apparently it was the cause of the war and seeks total human annihilation. Cool. And then also progression is a Pokedex for assessing the progress of the ecosystem. Frenzied Mega Pokemon and tournaments that give you clout. Sure. Yeah, of course. Clout. Nice. To spread Quasar's image. And then Kalos characters appear with slight redesigns. Leader of Quasar is a handsome blonde man who wants to create a space where humans and Pokemon thrive side by side. Again, this rumor has a lot of interesting shit, but I'm gonna be real. The point where you lose me, brother, is when you say 30 new Megas. Like, let's be real here. We're not getting 30 new Megas, okay? We're not getting 30 new Megas. It's not happening. Like, that shit is not real. It's not gonna happen. It's not realistic. I don't think we're gonna see that. That is just too many for Game Freak to make. They're not gonna want to make that many. I can see like half of that, but more than that, no. Just not happening. Because remember, it's not just that they're gonna have to make new Megas. They have to bring back like 30 plus old ones. So 60 Megas, just not real. I just highly doubt it. Keep in mind, we are talking about Game Freak here. But ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much summarizes that. I don't really know if we can trust that rumor. I am curious, though, if we're going to actually get to see a Nintendo Direct in August. That would be weird. I'm going to be real, because September makes more sense for Nintendo. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. We still have a few more days left of this week. If we're expecting something, we should be seeing it this week. Otherwise, it becomes really hard to know if anything new is going to be happening or not. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. If you did enjoy, drop a like down below. I'll see you guys the next time. Peace out, and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.